Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and a very warm welcome to the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour Round 3 here at the Circuit Moulay Al Hassan in Marrakech. We are ready to go racing. Free practice 1, free practice 2, qualifying have taken place, and down on pit lane, in fact down on the grid, it is Alexandra Legui that is going to be bringing you over the course of the weekend all of the news, drama, excitement and insight from our stacked field of talented TCR touring car drivers ahead of this crucial first race of the weekend. You can see the temperature is beautiful, and let's head down on to the grid with Alexandra.
Hello everybody. Well, what an atmosphere we have down here on the grid of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. It's round 3 and this is the grid for race 1 after what was a very dramatic qualifying yesterday. Nobby Michelitz came into this round as the reigning champion and the points leader for 2024, but Lynk & Co did not make it very easy for him, and they have taken top spot here on the grid in P1 and P2. Now, let's head over and try and have a chat with Jan Erlache, who is here now. His last win was last year in Bathurst 2023. They lock out the front row, which is rather nice. But I ask you, Jan, what's your team orders down to that first corner between Santi and you? Is it all go, or are you going to lead the way?
You will see in 30 minutes.
No, that's not good enough. You tell me. What's your plan?
No, but for sure. I mean, we are in a good position to score good points for Cyan Racing, Lynk & Co. So definitely, we're gonna make sure that we optimize this, and then we will see next up in the race. But for sure, we will take care of each other to not make anything stupid.
Good, very nicely done. Okay, Jan, pedal down, go. All right, let's head down a little bit further because it'd be really nice to speak to Santi. You hear it there. He's over there on the pit wall. Just to give you an idea, it's about 33 degrees today. Track temperatures we expect to be about 46 degrees. Santi, how are you? It's very hot. How are you keeping cool?
I don't know. I think it's quite difficult to keep it cool in the car. But just drinking as much as water I can, and then hope for the best.
So we heard from Jan a moment ago. He said that he's going to beat you to that first corner very easily. What are your thoughts on that?
Nah, it's okay. It's thought, and then the race is the race. So we are teammates. We want the best for Cyan and the blue cars and for Lynk & Co. So we will work together as we always do. And I hope we can get the big points because we have a big chance. So, you know, Hyundai has been strong in the first weekend. Norby is P3 with 40 kilos. That's very impressive, you know. We have no kilos, so I think we need to focus on our race and try to finish P1 and P2, which will be the best for Drivers' Championship and for Teams' Championship. So yeah, it will be a question now. The cars will react, you know, with the heat and very short track. I think we will be lapping cars as well. So it's something that probably we never experienced before. So let's see how it goes, but we already have a plan. So
good. Enjoy. Yeah, interesting what Santi just said there. So Norby came into this round with 40 kilos, the heaviest amount of compensation weight that were distributed after Vallelunga. Now, when I spoke to Norby yesterday, obviously a very good qualifying session for him to be here in P3. And he said that really the compensation weight doesn't make an awful lot of difference for qualifying, but he does expect it to make a big difference for the race. Now, those of you who've been following Norby for a few years will know that something that we don't do on the grid is interview him. He takes his time. He's very calm. He takes his time to get in the zone. Norby does an awful lot of visualization, and that's what he will be doing right there, right now. A form of meditation, if you like. That said, Norby is very light. He comes into this weekend quietly confident. They gained a lot of points after Vallelunga. They took a very good strategy, which is essentially what Lynk & Co have done this round, and it paid off because, as you just saw, they've locked out the front row, and not only that, but also they have P10 in the form of Ma Qinghua, who obviously takes the reverse pole. Bebu, how are you?
Good so far. It's a sunny day, so
Right, in front of you, you have the two Blue Sharks of Link & Co. and then our two Hyundais. What are your thoughts of how this is going to go, particularly down to that first corner?
I mean, you can never predict the start. It's important to get a good jump and then trying to see what we can do with Norby. I think the safest way is to go side by side in T1, but all depends about the jump. So it's interesting race, especially with the new layout. We have the last corner, which could bring some opportunities there, but we will see. And now focus on the start.
Nicely done, Bebu. Yeah, as Bebu alluded to there, in the past, this was pretty much a processional circuit. It's a very fast street circuit, always throws out a lot of demands. As you can see, the walls are very close. But the configuration has changed over the last few years, and in that last corner, there are opportunities to overtake. Nice busy grid. For Volcano Sport, Jean-Philippe is somewhere. Good qualifying session for him. As we head down, Mikel Ascona doing well in the points board. Let's see if we can catch a word with him. Mikel, nice to see you. Right, one win. It's time you had another one. Any opportunity for race 1 or race 2? You're in the middle of the mix for all of them.
Yeah, like you said, we are in the middle of the grid, which is good position for both races, good chance to get points. But to be honest, it's going to be very tough to overtake here. You know, it's probably the only action in the track will be in the last corner, but to be honest, it's going to be very difficult. So first corner will be key, and let's see onward how it's going the race.
You look pretty hot. How are you coping?
It is very hot. So imagine inside of the car it's going to be 36 laps, very tough. We are around 55, 60 degrees inside, so wish me luck.
Yes, good luck. It's all right, you're a Spaniard, you can cope with the weather. No problem at all. Okay, Julian Piguet, right. I'm not entirely sure we'll be able to get to speak to him. Team Claret, so he hit the tyre stack yesterday, caused a red flag. However, when you cause a red flag, you don't lose your times entirely, you lose only one lap. So it actually didn't make any difference to his quali time. So he sits here in P7, so that's a good opportunity to get some nice points, much needed points. Interesting always to see this part of the deal when they're starting to get in the cars, the process that they go through. Loving that steering wheel with all of the fluorescence. Good looking car, this. So that's Team Claret. Esteban Guerrieri. So his last win was Aragon, Race 1 World Touring Car in 2020. That is a long time ago. Now, obviously, being down here, it's going to be a little tricky for him to get a good result for Race 1. However, Race 2, he will be on the front row with Ma Qinghua, who is over here. Let's just, before we head over there, we can watch Esteban. A nice nod there. This is Esteban's little boy, who I have no doubt will be watching. Will he be watching?
Yes, I spoke this morning and he will be watching, yeah. I need to add Sarah also.
You do.
So in the next one this year, it will go also Sarah.
So I guess this is a bit of damage limitation for Race 1. Keep it clean, get through, be okay, so that you're ready to challenge Ma for Race 2, right?
Yeah, we know that this track is tight. It's going to be, let's say, a long race because we have 36 laps, always running in the same braking areas and so on, so the tire degradation will be big. So I think it's all about, and it's very hot of course, so it's all about tire management, and yeah, there is not many places to overtake, I mean, but let's see how it goes, yeah.
Good, all right. Esteban, vamos. And then behind him, with one TCR win in Uruguay 2023, Ma Qinghua of Link & Co. did a very good result in qualifying, managed to get the reverse pole, sits down here in P10, and again will be a similar situation to Esteban. It's just about keeping clean in Race 1, making sure no damage basically, so that he's happy and set for Race 2. Behind him, someone who didn't quite get the strategy quite right was Ted, who starts in P11 for both races. Now, I would keep going. Have a feeling that we need to get going with the race. People are starting to get peeled off the very busy grid. It's always nice to see so many people on the grid. Good energy, good atmosphere down here. Oh, a note. Both of the local Moroccan drivers are down a little bit further down in P12, P13, P14 even. Mehdi Banani hit the tyre stack. Unfortunately, he was really disappointed, but car back on track, happy days. Sammy plans on making a very good show for everybody, are his words this morning. So we look forward to seeing how that pans out. Let's get on with the race.
Alex Legui, great work there down on the grid. Thank you very much. Paul Jeffrey up here in the commentary box for this first race of the weekend. And as you can see, like it has been all weekend long here in Morocco, the temperature is incredibly high. It's going to be a big challenge for these 15 drivers taking part in the race that we're about to undertake in a few moments' time. Few things to note if you're new to the broadcast this week and didn't catch our footage of FP1, FP2 and qualification. We're running a shortened version of the Circuit Moulay Al Hassan, 1.98 kilometres, 1.23 miles, just 8 turns here on this track. It's going to be short, it's going to be sharp, it's going to be very dramatic indeed. 36 laps we're about to engage in, and as mentioned by, I think it was Santiago Urrutia, there's a great possibility that we will be seeing a little bit of traffic management from some of our front-running drivers. How that's going to affect the outcome of the race, we'll find out once we get under green flag conditions, but one thing is for sure, the challenge is going to be incredibly high for each and every one of these Kumho FIA TCR World Tour drivers. Qualification yesterday afternoon was an intense affair, and it ended up as a Cyan Link & Co benefit. Jan Elishay taking the pole position for race 1 with this man, Santiago Urrutia, alongside. Elishay pulled a 49.641 lap time out of the bag, dominating qualifying 2.5 tenths of a second to the good. That sounds like a lot, but when you consider that only 5.5 tenths covered the entirety of the top 10, you can see just how impressive that performance was from the French driver. Norbert Michaelis, we mentioned him at the top of the show very briefly. He's carrying 40 kilos of compensation weight. Michaelis, the heaviest car on the grid, Esteban Gurrieri, Mikel Azcona, have 30 kilos apiece, 20 for Marco Butti and just 10 for Santiago Urrutia. Bebu Girolami, he'll be starting on the second row of the grid for this first event. He'll be looking for another strong weekend. Great stuff from Girolami in qualifying, following on from a successful Vallelonga last time out where he won the second race of the weekend. Can the Argentine driver continue his strong start to life at the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa team? John Felipe, that we're looking at here for Volcano Motorsport, carrying the team somewhat in qualifying following a problem for home hero Sami Taufik. Sami, very strong in free practice, came into qualifying with undetected damage aboard that Audi. Unfortunately, that put pay to a good qualification session for Taufik. He'll start in 14th, while Azcona is in 6th position. Mikel Azcona that we're looking at here, Mikel Azcona that we're looking at here for the BRC squad. As he mentioned, he's starting mid-pack for both races. Mid-pack, any racing driver will tell you, is right in the heart of the dramas. He'll be hoping to stay out of strife when we go racing, as will this driver, Giulio Piet. Really, really impressive in qualification, coming into touring cars with a storied history in the world of endurance racing. Very fast, unfortunately made contact with one of the tyre stacks, but still will line up 7th. And this is our starting grid. So Jan Elishay and Santiago Urrutia, a Link & Co front row. Norbert Michaelis and Bebu Girolami representing the BRC Hyundai squad, 3rd and 4th positions. John Philippi for Volcano Motorsport is 5th ahead of Mikel Azcona in 6th. Then Julian Piguet in 7th, with Esteban Gurrieri for company, a Goat Racing Honda in 8th position. 9th is Marcin Hua, alongside him is Ted Bjork. Dusan Borkovic, 3-place penalty for impeding Mar in quali, will start 11th. Marco Butti alongside in 12th position. Home hero Mehdi Banani in the Sol Cupra is in 13th place alongside Sami Taufik, and then Victor Fernandez rounds out the 15 drivers that will be taking part in this race today. And there is Sami Taufik alongside fellow Moroccan driver Mehdi Banani. Disappointing day for our two home heroes. Banani, another driver, showed good pace in that Cupra, but a mistake and an accident early in qualifying put pay to his session. Hence the reason he's all the way down in 13th position for this first race of the weekend. And of course, if you're familiar with TCR touring cars, you'll know that we reversed the top 10 of qualification 2 for race 2. So sadly, for the likes of Taufik and Banani, they'll be starting 13th and 14th for both races. Track temperature then around 34 degrees centigrade. Air temperature currently around 26 according to my timing screen, but I think it's a fair bit warmer than that one in reality. Temperature management, tyre management is going to be key for these drivers over the course of this 36 lap race. Big question, I suppose, that's on everybody's lips. Will we have any red flag interventions? This is Marrakech. It will be a surprise if we don't. So for a lot of these drivers, certainly those 6th on down, staying out of trouble is going to be the order of the day. So here we go then. The final few cars rounding that final turn to take their place on the grid. 15 drivers, 11 full-time Kumho FIA TCR World Tour drivers, several guests joining this field as well. And here we go, the moment we have all been waiting for. All clear from the back of the grid. The green flag waves. All eyes very firmly on the starting lights, and in a few moments' time we'll be going racing, and we're off here at Marrakech for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Yellow flags at the back of the field. That's a Honda in trouble, but side by side at the front of the grid it is Jan Elishay that leads. Norbert Michelis and Mikel Afkona has won. Further back as well, Michelis holds on to that advantage. A little look from Urrutia, no way past on this occasion. Further down the running order, a couple of Lincoln Co side by side as well. Can't get alongside the Honda into the chicane can Marcin Hua and Ted Bjork. They stay front to tail at the back of the field. The Honda of Marco Butti manages to get running as well. He joins back in again in 15th position following a slow start off of the line. But at the front of the field, it is still Jan Elishay. Esteban Gurrieri makes a way past Marcin Hua further down as well. He's up into 7th position. Good start from the Argentinian driver there for Esteban Gurrieri, and already we're on the 2nd lap of the short Marrakech Street Circuit here in Morocco. Great opening few corners, then exactly what the doctor ordered for Jan Elishay at the front of the field. Norbert Michelis holds on to position from his teammate Bebu Girolami. That's exactly what Michelis wanted to deliver in these opening few laps. And the name of the game for these drivers for these first few laps is just to settle into a racing rhythm. Look at the back of the field. There we see Fernandez conceding position to teammate at Goat Racing Marco Butti. So Butti up into 14th position following the terrible start off of the line. Butti started in 12th, dropped to the rear of the field. It's going to be a long day for the Italian driver as he tries to make his way through the field, riding on board with Santiago Urrutia. Just ahead of us, his teammate Jan Elishay. No way past into a relatively quick T1. There's a bump just as you're turning into that corner cut. Several drivers out over the course of the weekend, but so far so clean for our field of stars here in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. That was briefly Mikel Afkona that we were looking through the windshield of 6th position. John Felipe for Volcano Motorsports is just ahead of the Spanish driver. And as predicted, At the start of this race, it is somewhat processional in these opening laps. The tyres are at their coldest. The cars, of course, are at their heaviest at this stage in the race. It's just a case of feeling your way through the track conditions. And one man that seems to have a bit of a better feel than most is John Philippi. Look at him there in the Volcano Audi, looking one way and then the other. At the rear of Bebel Girolami, the Audi on its tippy toes at this stage, just like teammate, in fact, Sami Taufik, that's already moved up into 11th position. So good start for Taufik from 14th on the grid, makes a couple of early places at the start of this race. But this is going to be a strategic drive from many of these drivers. Will the weight start playing on the performance of the BRC cars for Norbert Michelis in particular in third place? He's got a rear gunner of Bebel Girolami at this early stage of the race. But Girolami, for his own measure, is under big pressure from Philippi behind. John looking to the outside of that final corner. He'll try and get a cutback for a launch on to the, relatively speaking, long start finish straight here at Marrakech, but not quite enough of an overlap. Girolami does feel the need to go defensive. That will compromise the Hyundai somewhat on corner exit. We've only got a short hike to the next turn, so Girolami is safe for now, but it does look like John Philippi is the man on the move at these early stages. 5 laps in the books, 36 laps is our scheduled race distance. A lot of racing, a lot of heat for these drivers to contend with before we see a checkered flag and crown our first winner of the weekend. Further down the running order, we can see Marco Butti making a move on Mehdi Banani into the chicane at the back of your shot. There is the GOAT Racing Honda coming through the final corner as Victor Fernandez goes and explores the escape road. So Marco Butti's charge at the field continues. 13th position now for the Italian driver. Good recovery there for Butti. Still got work to do, though, to find his way into the top 10, which is the minimum target, I think it's fair to say, for the Italian, following a disappointing qualifying and an even more disappointing launch from the line. Here is Mehdi Banani. Great to see the Moroccan driver back on the international stage. Also great to see the brand new Cupra taking part in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Hugely successful car since its launch at the start of the year. Won the first 2 races of the TCR Europe Championship. Coming here to Marrakech, it's 10mm higher than we saw at Vallelunga for TCR Europe, but in the hands of Mehdi Banani, still seems like there's plenty of pace in the Spanish machine at this stage, and plenty of pace as well in John Philippi, as he's still nibbling at the back of Bebel Girolami, although it seems like Mikel Azcona now is starting to buy into this little fight. So Azcona hoping to help out the BRC squad by taking attention away from John Philippi on the charge in front and making him look in those rear view mirrors. This is Mikel's onboard camera, car number 196, rocking this number all season long will Mikel Azcona be, and he's desperately keen to get in contention with his 2 BRC Hyundai teammates and clear that Volcano Motorsports Audi ahead. Winding up then for the 8th lap of this race, it is still Jan Elishay at the front of the field, controlling the pace as his the desire coming into this race. Pole position, he wanted to get a clean start off of the line, wanted to consolidate that good grid position, and that's exactly what the French driver is doing at this moment in time. Slowly but surely eking away from Santiago Urrutia. 3/10 on the previous lap faster was Jan Elishay than his Uruguayan teammate Urrutia behind. That's building his lead slowly but surely. 8/10 is the advantage at this moment in time. Mikel Azcona, that we were looking at there last time around, he was a 51.3, pretty much as one the same lap time as Philippi in front. So it suggests to me that John Philippi is the one that's dictating the pace in that particular battle, making it all the more difficult for these drivers to find a way past, as Esteban Gurrieri at the back of our shot there goes a little bit defensive against Ma Qinghua. Ma, as Frederick looks on from the Cyan Racing Lincoln Co pit lane. Frederick Vallen, team manager of Cyan Lincoln Co. watching his charge, trying to find a way past Mark, currently ahead of Ted Bjork, and just in front of them, as we say, Esteban Gurrieri under lots of pressure in that GOAT Racing Honda Civic. Gurrieri, an experienced, wily campaigner in touring cars. He'll be able to soak that pressure up. As long as it stays clean, it'll be very difficult indeed for the blue cars to find a way past over the next 26 laps. So let's take another look at this start. At the back of the shot, Marco Butti fails to get away from the line. At the front, though, exactly on plan for Jan Elysée. Straight in to T1, Santiago Urrutia alongside the two Hyundais behind as well, protecting each other are Bebo Girolami and Norbert Michelis. This is the view from the 112 of Santiago Urrutia. Good initial launch, good second phase of the launch as well. Has the outside line defended by Jan Elysée, no room whatsoever. Mikel Azcona that we're looking at now. Look how tight this field is. Great launch from Azcona, but then we see a little bit of bulking from John Philippi as he's trying to find his own real estate. Azcona couldn't take advantage of that optimum launch from the line. Unfortunately for the Spaniard, that keeps him in sixth position and means he's going to have to find a way past John Philippe on the racing surface. Not the easiest task here at Marrakech, and also bear in mind the temperatures being so high, following the car ahead closely, pumping that warm air through the grille into the engine of your own car is not the best place. Touring cars are not happy running at high temperatures, so that's going to be a problem, and that's a problem for Dusan Borkovic. Smoke from the front of the car, the GOAT Racing Honda into retirement. Shame there for Dusan Borkovic, back on the world stage once again for this particular round, and it looks like the day is done for race one, at least for the big Serbian driver. Real shame. 14 cars still circulating. Victor Fernandez back in the field up in 14th position. Jan Elysée at the other end of the grid, currently leading this race by around 0.6 of a second from his teammate Santiago Urrutia. Norbert Michelis currently has the bottom step of the podium. The eyes say it all, don't they? Disappointment mixed with a little bit of anger for Dusan Borkovic. Real shame, not how he anticipated this race going. And hopefully they can fix the car down at GOAT Racing, because Dusan will be starting P3 for race 2 later on this afternoon. There is Borkovic, the only man I've ever met that is taller than myself, and not by a small amount either. Big chap is Dusan Borkovic, big personality as well. Great to see him on the world stage, and a real shame that that car heads into early retirement, leaving us 14 runners on the racetrack with 13 laps complete. Everybody's keeping it clean so far. Hopefully not spoken too soon on that one. That top three that started to break away at the front of the field. So Norbert Michelis now, last time around, a 51.322, only a few hundredths quicker than teammate Bebo Girolami, but that gap now is starting to inch further and further away. Girolami dropping into the clutches of the Volcano Audi of John Philippi behind. Philippi will be, John Philippi is normally quite a considered race driver. You don't see him in much drama, you don't see him being hugely aggressive. He's just always there or thereabouts. Well, Philippi is going to have to take an aggressive pill if he wants to find a way past that 129. And looking at the body language of that Volcano Motorsports Audi, it does seem like Philippi is certainly interested in seeing if he can do anything about the car ahead as Julien Piquet comes down pit lane. So Piquet having some kind of dramas as well. 12th position he was running, he's now in pit lane. Not sure exactly what's happened there for the French driver, but that's another real shame for Julien Piquet and for the Claret Sport outfit, as they look like they're at the very least coming in for some checks, but probably in for an early retirement. So then, 15 laps complete at the front of the field. Jan Elishay's small advantage seems to be reducing. It looks like Santiago Urrutia has got the run now. And another change as well, so Marco Butti for Goat Racing is heading down pit lane as well. There is Marco. Soon we'll have more cars on pit road than we'll have on the track. Quite what's happened to Marco Butti. There is Alex going to investigate. You can see in your shot as well. For the Italian driver Marco Butti, what a nightmare, what a change of fortunes from Vallelunga just a couple of weeks ago. Marco Butti and Goat Racing in some kind of strife, the two Hondas, Butti and Borkovic, in pit lane and out of the race. Real shame there for the Italian star. Hopefully we'll find out exactly what went wrong for Marco Butti in the fullness of time, as we turn our attention back to the front of this field and the squabble for the top 6 positions. I am hearing from Alex down on pit road that Sami Taufik and Dusan Borkovic did come together in the early runnings of this race. Borkovic getting some rear left damage on his Honda. That's the reason why Borkovic is down in pit lane. So thank you, Alex, for sending me that bit of information. Borkovic won't be happy about that one, of course. Taufik on the recovery drive, having failed to really set a time, a worthwhile time at least in qualifying, carrying damage in that Volcano Motorsports car. It's working out well for Taufik though. He's up into the top 10, just behind Ted Bjork, so a decent recovery, aided of course by the 3 retirees ahead of him. But Sami Taufik putting on a show. He told Alex Legui yesterday that he was going to be on fire in this race and pushing hard to put a good show on for the fans at home, and that's exactly what he's doing as we ride on board once again with Mikel Azcona, Spanish driver in the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa. New car, well, not a new car, a facelifted car, the 2024. Subtle differences front and rear. The underpinnings are the same as we saw in 2023, but this new shape certainly very attractive on the racetrack and certainly providing the tools needed for their drivers to have a very good start to their 2024 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour campaign. Norbert Mikulis in 3rd position, teammate Girolami in 4th. And that is Marco Butti, not looking happy as the Goat Racing team assess just what seems to be the matter with our Honda Civic Type R FL5. Elishay, Urrutia, Mikulis, Girolami, Filippi, Azcona as one, going through that first section, separated by very little indeed. 3 seconds cover our top 5 drivers. The times might not be big gaps, but the difficulty in finding a way past is big indeed here at Marrakech. You've got to rely on either a very nice overlap, which is nigh on impossible with the similarities in performance of these cars, or a mistake from the driver in front. A mistake like Sami Taufik has just done there, missing the chicane, having to go through the mandated escape road to rejoin safely on the racetrack. Taufik back, still in 10th position, but he's got a comfortable gap to many behind, so no need to particularly panic for the Moroccan driver. He can continue his chase of Marching Noir in the Lynk & Co Cyan racing car ahead. He's only got 17 laps in which to do it though, so Taufik needs to push on at this stage if he wants to be in that conversation for a further gain as the race progresses onwards and upwards. As we ride again with Mikel Azcona. Just have a look. Let's hope we stay with Azcona for a few moments. Have a look. In fact, no, we don't. We move away from that one. But just how difficult this track is for these touring car drivers. Just how alive these cars are over the bumps, over the curbs, dancing between the concrete walls that line this circuit. Is such a difficult driving challenge. Throw into the mix the weather conditions as well. The exceptionally high temperatures in which we're working in this weekend, and it really is very, very difficult for these drivers to deliver their optimal performance. As the BRC squad watched on, they're keeping their eye on their men, Norbert Mikulis, Bebo Girolami and Mikel Azcona. Last time around then, 51.087 for our race leader Jan Elishay, a 51.208 for the chasing Santiago Urrutia. Santi doesn't seem to have the pace at this stage of the race. So it's comfortable for Jan Elishay at the front of the field. Urrutia just again covering the inside line, not really on a defence or an attack, just getting some clean, cool air into that Honda Civic. I'm hearing as well that there's been it was a gearbox issue for Julien Piquet, so that's why the French driver is out of this race, and there's some damage on the front left of Marco Butti's Honda. Quite what that was contact with, whether it was the tyre stacks or another driver, we're not sure at this stage, but Butti, nevertheless, the end result is the same, and that is an early return to pit lane. So a real shame for Marco Butti. Only a couple of hours to get that car fixed before they go racing again. So the pressure is on for the GOAT Racing squad to get that car in the Dusan Borkovic machine back out on the racetrack again for race 2 a little bit later on today, as we break the timing beam once again with Jan Elishay to start the 22nd tour of the short, very short in fact, Marrakech circuit. 8 corners, 1.98 kilometres in length here at the Circuit Moulay Al Hassan. A new challenge for these drivers, the first time we've been at Marrakech since 2019. A new layout, 8 drivers taking part in this race that have competed previously on the former layout of Marrakech. They are Norbert Michaelis, Esteban Gurrieri, Ted Bjork, who took the first win for the new Lincoln Co car all the way back when they made their debut. So he's back again in that same team. Mikel Afkona, Nestor Girolami, Jan Elishay, Marcin Guar and Mehdi Banane also have raced here previously. And very briefly, we saw Victor Fernandez being wheeled back into the garage as well. So GOAT Racing not having a good time at all this weekend in race 1. Victor Fernandez into an early retirement. Real shame for the Spanish driver. Learning experience here. He's been a little bit away from the pace, but he's just getting those laps in the books, learning as he goes, taking that experience on board. And last thing that he needed to do was to park up early in that Honda with 22 laps completed in this 36 lap race. This seems to be one of the more intense of the battles currently in the field. That is Esteban Gurrieri in the 186 Honda for good company. He's got Ted Bjork and Marcin Guar behind. Ted and Mar both looking to find a way past the Honda. Both will be very conscious that they're in the same team, the two blue Lincoln Co Cyan Racing, so they're not going to want to interfere with each other's progress too much, but collectively will be desperate to find a way past Gurrieri ahead. Ted Bjork currently is the man that's leading points on that particular charge. That's the fight for 7th, 8th and 9th position. Sami Taufik a little bit detached further back, a further second in arrears in the second of the 2 Volcano Motorsport Audis. Taufik on the recovery following his little excursion at the chicane a few laps ago, as once again Ted Bjork just takes a little bit of a look, tries to unsettle. Ted Bjork goes for the dive. Contact between Ted Bjork and Gurrieri. Gurrieri gets the car pointing in the right direction, but Ted Bjork from absolutely nowhere goes into the side of the Honda. Now he has the run down into T1, a secondary contact as well. Will Gurrieri avoid the rear of the Lincoln Co? Yes, he does. And Ted Bjork, in touring car style, gloves on, punch in the mouth, I'm coming through. Good pass, a little bit aggressive. Esteban Gurrieri won't be happy about that one, but the end result is Ted Bjork finally finds a way past the GOAT Racing Honda, and now Gurrieri has eyes on stalks, trying to keep Marcin Guar behind as well. Big bit of drama there, the last corner. We said that would be a flashpoint, an opportunity for these drivers to overtake, and Ted Bjork from absolutely nowhere licks the stamp and sends it. Marcin Guar likes that. He fancies a go as well. Mar a little bit more aggressive again. Big contact. Esteban Gurrieri thinks he's racing Saturday night stock cars in Skegness, but he keeps the car on the racetrack, and Sami Taufik decides, boys, you can squabble all you want. I don't fancy being involved in this one. I'm going to catch my mate Ted Bjork up and gets his way past both of them. So Sami Taufik has been gift-wrapped to present, moves all the way up into 8th position. Esteban Gurrieri does not know which day of the week it is, having been assaulted in consecutive laps by Link & Co Cyan Racing drivers. The end result for Gurrieri is he's now in 10th position. Big bit of drama then. Who said that you can't pass in Marrakech? You can, but you've got to have sparky elbows, and that's exactly what Ted Bjork and Ma Qinghua had. Into that final corner, very late braking manoeuvres for both drivers. Heavy contact with their rivals. I'm sure race stewards will want to have a little chit-chat to both of those drivers at the conclusion of this race. They may not go unnoticed by race control. Let's have another look then at what happened here. That is Ma Qinghua. Doesn't have the brakes locked, but just doesn't quite have enough real estate to avoid contact. Gurrieri tries to turn in to make the corner, sees himself a Link & Co Cyan racing car in the way, and bang, they go. Sami Taufik in the background thinking, hey, I'll have some of this one, and makes his way through as well. So Taufik makes up 2 places in one manoeuvre. Ted Bjork has scampered on up the road as well in 7th position. While we look at the front of the field, Mikel Azcona is starting to get interested in the back of John Felipe's Audi. Azcona doesn't have the overlap into T1. Careful of that bump on the apex. He does that one. And there we go, very quick indeed by the stewards. Car number 111, that is Ted Bjork. 5-second penalty for causing a collision. Ted Bjork, that is of course for the move on Esteban Gurrieri. So Bjork now needs to get his skates on to try and build himself a gap of plus 5 seconds to the chasing pack to mitigate any disadvantage that time penalty will be awarded. Big drama then. Battle for 5th position. We're looking at here John Felipe, Mikel Azcona. Azcona fancies a look down the inside of that final corner as well. He avoids contact with Felipe on this occasion, doesn't have enough room, settles back into the slipstream. Felipe decides to defend the line into T1. No need to worry too much though. The overlap as such for Mikel Azcona, not great enough to force the issue on this occasion, but that is firmly a signal of intent from Mikel Azcona. I see you, John Felipe, and I fancy taking away that 5th place. It's exactly what's going through Mikel Azcona's mind, probably with a few more choice words in there as well for the Spanish driver. So difficult to pass here at Marrakech. Elbows out very firmly on attack or defend. Have a quick look down, make a change in the car, does Mikel Azcona. See if that change will be enough to empower him to find a way past the Volcano Motorsports Audi ahead. At the front of the field though, Jan Elishay still serenely in the lead from teammate Santiago Urrutia. No, but Mikel is holding on very nicely indeed, it has to be said. 40 kilos of compensation weight for Norbert Michelis seems to be not impacting that Hyundai Elantra N quite as much as we wondered on the build-up to this race. He said no big effect in qualification, but he expects to pay a price come race time. Michelis last time around, a 51.180, is still bang on the pace that we're expecting to see in this race. So Kumho tyres holding on very nicely on that BRC car. And if anything, Michelis is still having a little sniff of the tailpipe of Santiago Urrutia ahead. Incident involving car 155 and 186 at T8. No further investigation. So Ma Qinghua managed to pull off that manoeuvre a little bit more within the rules and regulations according to our race stewards. So he makes the clean pass on Esteban Gurrieri. That's lucky for Ma Qinghua, as Gurrieri and himself are still very much as one. A little bit further up the road, Ted Bjork does have that clear air to try and push as hard as he can, if he can, to mitigate as much of that 5-second time penalty as possible. And Mikel Azcona that we're looking at here, the Spanish driver, really does fancy a way past John Felipe. Felipe starting now to fall back from this chasing pack. The pace of that Volcano Audi is not what it was at the start of this race. John Felipe under massive pressure. This is an opportunity for Mikel Azcona now. He's got a good launch through T8, the final corner. Felipe recognises the threat, covers the inside line. Azcona doesn't have enough on the top end to get alongside into T1. It's a very quick, oh well, very being a relative word, it's a reasonably quick first corner here at Marrakech. Difficult to really get a car alongside without heading straight to the scene of the accident. So Mikel Azcona keeping his powder dry at this stage. The real pressure point is that final turn, and John Philippi will be well aware of that one. Will be keeping his eye firmly on the mirrors for his Spanish rival. This is the 196 on board now of Azcona. Left and then right into the chicane. Philippi a little bit deep into the corner. He's compromised massively on corner exit. This is an opportunity now for Azcona, but again, the legs on that Audi for the final part of the straight, just keeping John Philippi out of trouble for now. 3 laps left on the clock, and Mikel Azcona running out of time to find a way past the Volcano Motorsport machine ahead. Where will you pick your moment, or do you just settle for 6th position and the points that come with it? If you're Mikel Azcona, that's a decent payday here in Marrakech. Starting mid-pack is always a pressure point in a touring car, especially on a street circuit. Mikel Azcona might well be content to stick with what he's got rather than risking it all for a move past the French driver ahead. Having a look into the final corner, Azcona puts his nose there. Philippi gives him racing room, runs deep. Mikel Azcona, that's how you do it, chaps. Mikel Azcona finds a way past very nicely indeed, and that is, he's been looking at this one all race long, and that is 5th position. Car number 212, Sami Taufik, gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. That's, of course, probably, I would imagine, the contact in the we didn't see on camera between himself and Dusan Borkovic at the start of this race. So Taufik, 5 seconds will be applied to his time. He's currently 8th place on track, but that will drop him for sure behind the likes of Marchingois and Esteban Gurrieri behind. Sami Taufik having in the wars a little bit, it's fair to say, this weekend. Started in qualifying, it's carrying through into this race that we're seeing, the first race of the day, round 3 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. So, Lynk & Co, Hyundai, Audi, Lynk & Co, Audi, Lynk & Co. John Philippi recently on a charge, still taking a look at the back of Azcona. Azcona now starting to run away from the Audi following that overtake into the final turn 8 here at Marrakech. Good move from Azcona, made every benefit from a rare mistake from John Philippi, but Philippi still 6th position, will be relatively satisfied with the pace loss that we're seeing in that Audi in the final stages of this race. And there was the Philippi and Azcona fight just going through your screen. Once again, Santiago Arrutia just dipping out of the warm air of Jan Eliche's car, trying to keep his own Lynk & Co as cool as possible in these hot conditions, and also acting as a bit of a deterrent for Norbert Michelis, just to remind the Hungarian behind that he's well aware of the threat from the Hyundai and has the line covered. The final lap then, Jan Eliche lights to flag. This has been quite the performance from the French driver, dominant in qualifying, carrying that forward into this race. Into then the final section of corners from pole position. Jan Eliche for Lynk & Co. Cyan Racing accelerates and takes the checkered flag to win round 3 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Santiago Arrutia makes it a 1-2 for Lynk & Co. and Norbert Michelis rounds out the podium finishers after a frantic race here in Morocco. Handshakes then on the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa pit lane. They're satisfied with their day's work. 40 kilos maximum compensation weight for Norbert Michelis, but he still brings the car home on the podium just ahead of teammates Bebu Girolami and Mikel Azcona. Home hero Mehdi Benani. It was a race to get that car repaired in time following a shunt in qualification. Benani does just that one though, and eases himself back into a racing cockpit for the first time in a couple of years with a solid 11th position on the racetrack. Good to see Banane getting some more experience behind the wheel and taking the car to the checkered flag. But it is Jan Elishay at the front of the grid who was absolutely dominant, it is fair to say. A sensational lap in qualification. Redemption for the Frenchman, having started in pole all the way back in 2017 and having that one taken away from him. He started in pole this time though and delivered very nicely in the race. No mistakes from the French driver, ably supported by his teammate Santiago Arrutia. And the reward for team and driver is not only a first place, but the 30 points that come with it for a race victory. And that makes up somewhat for the dramas in Vallelunga and moves Elishay just 9 points in arrears of Michaelis and the driver standings. Santiago Arrutia in third position, just ahead of Mikel Azcona. Azcona 25 behind teammate Norbe. 27 points, a further 3 in arrears is Bebu Girolami, and Esteban Gurrieri for Goat Racing on their debut season is 6. Ted Bjork, solid race from him. He's 7th in the points, 41 away from the top of the table. John Philippi, that 6th position cements a good driver standings thus far for the Frenchman in 8th place. But the other Frenchman that we're all looking at is that man. Big cheer for the photographers and for the team of mechanics. Jan Elishay never looked like it was going to be in doubt. Is a man very firmly on form this weekend, gelled with the shorter new layout of the Moulay Al Hassan circuit in Marrakech. Did the job in qualifying, subdued in free practice, but when it matters is when you deliver. Frederic Vallon giving a big hug to his man Santiago Arrutia as well. Good performance from the Uruguayan driver. 1-2, as was qualifying for Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing. Executed a very, very good performance indeed. So easy to trip yourself up on a circuit such as this, but no such drama for these two drivers. And Norbert Michaelis, fantastic performance from the Hungarian as well, carrying full compensation weight, made no mistakes, 3rd on the grid, 3rd in the race, ably backed by teammates Girolami and Azcona as well. So another good day for Bebu Girolami as well. And these are the results. Jan Elishay is first from Santiago Arrutia and Norbert Michaelis. 4th position for Bebu Girolami, just ahead of Mikel Azcona and John Philippi, with Marcin War, Ted Bjork, Esteban Gurrieri and Sami Taufik. Mehdi Banane and Victor Fernandez round out our drivers who finished. Marco Butti, Julian Piguet and Dusan Borkovic all suffering from damage and various dramas, failing to finish the race in 13th, 14th and 15th position. And I do believe down on pit lane we've got Alex Legui with our race winner Jan Elishay.
Brilliantly done. A very nice pole position converted to a very good win for rounds 3 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Cup. Job done.
Yeah, job done. Wasn't easy, you know. On street track, you never know what to expect from the start, but I got a good support with Santi behind me to play it clever all race. So it was quite tough. We had to push, and the tires don't last very long. So we had to save the tire by going quick as well as we could. But no, it wasn't easy. 30 laps is quite long around here with 65 degrees in the car. But at the end of the day, it's a good point for Cyan Racing, and championship is still long.
Well done, Jan.
Jan Elishay, our race winner there. Not easy, the Frenchman said behind the wheel. 60+ degrees centigrade in this touring car on a tight, twisty street circuit where the room for error is precisely 0. Great execution by the team. Driver's point that we see once again provisionally on our screen, and it is Norbert Michaelis that leads the World Tour after 3 races. From Jan Elishay, 9 points separate the historic rivals in tin top touring car. Santiago Arrutia, good start to his day with 3rd in the standings, 17 in arrears from Norby at the top of the field, Mikel Azcona and Bebu Girolami with Esteban Gurrieri 6 in the standings, 39 back. In Honda, in their debut season for GOAT Racing, Ted Bjork, 7th in the point standings, 41 in arrears, but 6 ahead of John Philippi. Then it's Marco Butte, disappointing day at the races today for the Italian. He'll be hoping for a whole handful of points in a few moments' time when we do race 2 later this afternoon. And Marcinkois rounds out the top 10 points. And let's take a look at some of the highlights from the race that we've just witnessed.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very, very warm welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to you all. This is the podium for race 1 here, the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Please welcome onto the podium in 3rd position your winning driver from BRC Hyundai Squadra Corse. It's Norby Michelitz. In 2nd position from Cyan Racing, Lincoln Go, it's Santi Urrutia. And your winner from Lincoln Co Cyan Racing, it's Jan Erlache. Representing Lincoln Co Cyan Racing is Daniel Correa. And now for the national anthems. President de la Fédération Royale Marocaine des Sports Automobiles. Abdelrahim Abdain will present the third position trophy to Norby Michelitz. Abdelrahim Abdain will now present the second position trophy to Santiago Urrutia. Shakib Ben Moussa, the Minister de l'Éducation nationale et des Sports, will present the winning trophy to Cyan Racing Lincoln Co.'s Jan Erlashe. Shakib Ben Moussa will also present the winning trophy to our winning team, Cyan Racing Lincoln Co., Daniel Correa. Please come together for your official photograph. Grab your bottles. Grab your bottles, gents. Let's party!
Fantastic stuff there. That's the podium celebrations for our top three drivers in the opening round of the weekend here in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Round 3 at the Circuit Moulay El Hassan. Fantastic performance from each and every one of them. Alex Legui doing great work with the pronunciation there on the podium. Not an easy task at all in this sunshine, and not an easy task for our drivers. We'll be back again on the TCR TV YouTube channel for the second race of the day at 14:10 CEST. If you know touring cars, you know that race 2 is where the drama happens. So I implore you to put a date in your diary and come and join us again. My name's Paul Jeffrey. From us all, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.